On the ground at Southampton this morning, the damage to the aircraft was clearly visible. The BAC One-Eleven was flying at 25,000 feet when the two left-hand windows of the cockpit were blown out. The pilot was sucked out of the window by the sudden decompression, and 3 cabin crew, 2 of whom were injured themselves, managed to hang on to him while the co-pilot landed the aircraft. Passengers spoke of a loud bang, then strong winds blowing through the cabin.
It was just like that. It was like an explosion because the windscreen had come out.
And you felt the decompression?
Yes,
you couldn't
very
help
much
it. I
so.
mean,
We came down.
The thing is, nobody could possibly know. Nobody could know unless they'd been on the plane. It was hell.
You know, it happens to somebody else. It doesn't happen to you.
No, it never happens to you.
Then I could see the crew, which was quite frightening, hanging on to the pilot.
Passengers said there was no panic and they were full of praise for the crew. The pilot, Captain 𝗕𝗿𝗶𝘶𝗵 𝗵, is being treated for leg and chest injuries in Southampton General Hospital. Accident investigators have spent most of the morning examining the damaged flight deck. As yet, there's no indication of what caused the windows to blow out. They haven't yet ruled out the possibility that the aircraft was struck with something, though at 25,000 feet, that seems a remote possibility. Harry Smith, ITN, Southampton. The aircraft, towed in this afternoon for examination by accident investigators, had been flying at 23,000 feet when the front port windscreen was blown out. Captain Lancaster was sucked into the gap, even though he was wearing a seatbelt across his lap. The blood spattered across the fuselage, showing the desperate position he was in. The belt remained fastened around his legs, long enough for 2 air stewards to grab Captain Lancaster. With his head, chest and arms out of the plane, he was buffeted by 250-mile-an-hour winds and temperatures of -20 degrees centigrade. It was 15 minutes before he could be pulled in.
The wind was coming to us and we fell very quickly. And I thought, this just, you know, it happens to somebody else. It doesn't happen to you.
No, it never happens to you.
Then I could see the crew, which was quite frightening, hanging on to the pilot.
The co-pilot, First Officer 𝗲𝗲𝗄𝘆𝗀, who was still wearing his full safety harness, then took the controls and landed the plane safely. Experts say the air stewards, one of whom, Nigel Ogden, injured his arm, risked their own life to save their captain. All but 7 of the 81 passengers flew on to Málaga later in the day. At Southampton General Hospital, Captain Lancaster is being treated for 2 broken ankles, broken ribs and frostbite. British Airways say the windscreen which blew out had been fitted to the cockpit only 2 days ago as part of the normal parts replacement programme for this type of aircraft. The maintenance documents will now be studied by accident investigators who've spent most of the day here examining the damaged flight deck and interviewing the aircraft crew. Harry Smith, ITN, Southampton. From the colleagues who saved his life. He declined to be interviewed, but through a British Airways official, he said he was conscious for part of the ordeal and remembers the sub-zero temperatures and being buffeted by the wind. He said his main thought was to keep breathing. He tried to shout to the crew inside, but was sure they couldn't hear him. Asked if he thought he was going to die, he said, "It did cross my mind for a moment or two." He praised his co-pilot, 𝗲𝗲𝗄𝘆𝗀𝗀, for what he described as a miraculous piece of flying. Another visitor was British Airways Chief Executive Sir Colin Marshall, who also praised captain and crew.
We were extremely pleased, extremely proud of their efforts yesterday. I think they displayed a remarkable level of professionalism in going about the tasks in these unexpected circumstances. We're very proud of them indeed.
Meanwhile, the BAC One-Eleven is still at Southampton Airport while accident investigators continue their inquiries into the incident. Captain Lancaster is expected to be interviewed in hospital within the next few days. Harry Smith, News at 10, Southampton. we're in a set of steps.
Oh, right. Then
we'll also copy those.
Male stewards, so they have the strength to hold it.
Right, one final thing.
Two stewards and a stewardess. Was it pilot?
Yes, it's near it's going to go out now.
80 passengers on board. 3 on the flight deck.
Okay.
they'll come back to you.
I'll see you up. If you pick those up by...
Sorry, can you just stay back? Yeah, I'm sure you do. Can you just stay back?
Upset anybody. You get all you need to get.
Ali's there. And the other first officer. Ali's there.
Yes?
Been back on and it wasn't as frightening as I thought.
Back of the airport.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And thank that air
Well,
crew.
it's a luck of the
I'm
gods,
glad
you
the
know.
pilot
It really,
agreed
nobody
that it
could
was
know.
dead and,
Imagine if you're up there.
I would have stopped the board.
And the whole thing starts to crackle and the smoke comes, you know. It's such a shock. And we're alive at the end of it. I can't believe it. I've had 3 branders and I feel okay now.
I could see more than halfway.
Stephanie Jenkins.
And they were trying to hold him.
I was in Swanage last week, you see. My parents have got a flat down there and I see the local news, but...
Thank you very much.
All you need now, Jen.
activity here, that's just liaising with the pastoral department themselves.
Yeah, so every so often. Yeah.
Has the actual pilot said anything to you at all? I mean, in conversation with him, you must have said something to him.
You're asking how he was?
How he was, or what he...
Very good humour, and we enjoyed a couple of jokes.
What sort of jokes did he enjoy?
I'm not going to go into this in any detail whatsoever. We've had the conversation, as I said just now. He's in good spirits and is making good progress, and that's what really matters under these circumstances.
Did he pay tribute to the crew?
Of course.
What did he say about the crew?
I'm not going to get into any detail at all of the conversations that took place.
Did you talk to the crew about the way they'd helped to save him from going through the windscreen?
I assured the crew that we were extremely pleased, extremely proud of their efforts yesterday. I think they displayed a remarkable level of professionalism in going about the tasks in these unexpected circumstances. We're very proud of them indeed.
Did they say how difficult it was to hold in the aircraft?
I really am not going to go into any detail whatsoever because all of the investigations and inquiries will take place subsequently.
Are you going to give the crew any awards?
Really, I think it's much too early to speculate on anything at this point in time. There will be, as I say, the full investigations conducted by the Accident Investigation Bureau, and we ourselves obviously will be following through from the company standpoint as well.
Did the captain say at any stage whether he thought he was going to die?
I am not going to discuss anything the captain said to me, I'm afraid.
Was he conscious during the ordeal when he was outside the cockpit?
Really, I am not going to respond to the specific condition or circumstances.
Why is that? Why are you unable to respond to these?
Are you embarrassed?
I'm not. As I have said to you, we're very pleased, we're very proud of the way in which all of the crew went about their duties under the circumstances. The captain is in good heart and is making good progress. I really have nothing more to add than that.
If you're very proud by this, why is British Airways being so defensive about the whole incident?
I don't see why we're being defensive in any way whatsoever.
Well, obviously a lot of the questions that we're putting to you are quite uncontentious. We do know that the window blew out, and we're not asking questions about why that happened, but questions about the subsequent events on the flight deck would seem quite innocuous. Why will you not answer that or assist us in any way?
Because I think it's a matter for the eventual inquiry and investigations to reveal in detail. I mean, at this point in time, I think it's important not to get into the field of speculation. I think it's extremely...
We're not asking for speculation, we're asking what happened on the flight deck. We're not asking for speculation at this stage.
Which we believe, and we hope you believe too, are fairly innocuous. They're not contentious, as my colleague says. They would not in any way affect any kind of investigation that's going on. There is enormous public interest in what happened out there yesterday.
I understand.
And we think, and we hope, that you'd allow the pilot to talk to us on the basis of his personal experiences, not anything that may relate to an inquiry, but he's a human being. What did he feel like when this was going on?
It's not really a question of me deciding whether you should speak to the pilot or not. After all, he is in the hospital and is under the care of the doctors here. And they must determine his health condition. But it is, yes, he is. I mean, it's very important indeed that the inspectors have the opportunity of discussing what happened with each of the crew members in turn in order to get their individual recollections of the circumstances. And I think only when they have heard from all of them, and all of them have had the opportunity to reflect on the situation, that we can attempt to put the total story together.
Would you have any objection to us talking to other members of the crew who were on board the aircraft, the co-pilot and the stewards?
I think, again, you must respect their personal feelings and circumstances.
Do they know what
and
to talk
at this
about?
point in time, I don't think
Could we ask them?
any of them really feel that they wish to discuss it.
Well, they've obviously been discussing it with yourselves and their colleague today. Might they just give us a moment of their time?
Well, we will respect their feelings in total as far as the company is concerned, and at this point in time they do not feel that they wish to relate their experiences. I think we've got to let them get home and get rested.
But they've come all the way down to Southampton today, Sir Colin, and they've been talking to you and their colleague for some time. It's difficult to imagine that they won't have the energy to talk to us for a moment or two.
What do you mean they've come all the way down to Southampton today? They've been in Southampton since the aircraft landed yesterday.
All right, but they've come to the hospital with you today and they've spent an hour or more up there talking to their colleague. It's difficult to imagine that they won't have the energy to spare us a moment or two. Could we ask them that? Have you asked them for us?
They have been asked on your behalf. They prefer not to undergo interviews at this stage. That's the fact. It's a simple fact. I've asked them numerous times on behalf of different people. I'm sorry, we want to be as helpful as we can, but under all of these circumstances, we are not able to Well, if you have the crew talk to you
Has
at
he
this point in time.
thanked the crew for saving his life?
Well, again, I think you must be fair. It's very important that the inspectors who are carrying out the investigation into the incident have the opportunity of talking with the crew first and foremost.
Is that, in fact,
that
the
must be
issue?
accomplished.
That's what we feel should happen before they speak.
I'll be back outside.
My video doesn't look like this either.
Correct. It's running now.
Why is everybody on square?
It's not like us, is it?
It's not like this.
No, no.
There's one thing about television, you don't have to pose for it.
Everybody's getting friendly now.
That's this is Nigel, son, Rogers.
Right. Is that okay now? Can we call a draw and close now, please?